Hey guys, MMASavant here, and I just want to talk to you guys about the upcoming card with Frankie Edgar, and he's taking on Chad Mendes for the TUF Ultimate Fighter Finale 22. Anyway, so let's get into it. I recorded one of these earlier, but I made a mistake, and I don't like making mistakes on this because I am the MMA Savant. So here we go. I'm going to do the top four fights for this card. Um, up first, we have Ryan LaFleur taking on Mike Pierce. And Ryan LaFleur, talented grappler out of the East Coast. He recently had a loss, his first loss to Damian Maia. He was out grappled. But don't let that skew your vision of him. He's a very talented guy. Um, and, he's got submission wins and everything. Where Mike Pierce is coming off a loss to one Husamar Palhares. And Husamar Palhares is a very dangerous grappler. Losing to him by a submission, it kind of goes with the territory. But I remember Mike Pierce, he had been talking about Palhares and Brazil, and when he got in the cage, the fight lasted less than like a minute or whatever. It was very short. I don't remember the exact time. Anyway, it just goes to show you guys, have respect for the person across the cage from you. Don't try to diminish their skills because they're in there and you're in there. And, show respect to your opponents. So this is Mike Pierce's first fight back. Now, with all things considered, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ryan LaFleur by submission, third round. So moving on. You have Joe Lozon. He's taking on Evan Dunham. This fight, if it was on any other weekend, would get a lot more buzz about it. Because Evan Dunham has been in the UFC since before UFC 100 for a reason. He's consistent. He's fun. He's a very talented grappler. And his jiu-jitsu is beautiful. He does hold a black belt under Megaton Diaz, and he works extensively with Robert Drysdale. So his grappling and his jiu-jitsu is top-notch. Okay, anyway, but what he does, he does have some knockout wins and everything. But what he does is his jiu-jitsu on the mat would be a lot better. But because punches and strikes are allowed, it lets guys with less of a grappling pedigree submit him. He does have a submission loss to Donald Cerrone. Donald Cerrone, in his own right, is a great grappler, kind of unheralded and not very talked about grappler. But Joe Lozon is a star of this party right now. He's a Boston native, and he is a perpetual and perennial submission hunting machine with bonuses all the live long day. People love Joe Lozon. He's a brown belt under Ricky Lindell. And for those of you kids out there who don't know who Ricky Lindell is, Google his name. He truly is a grappling prodigy. I don't know the man. I never met him before. I never trained under him. I was at Extreme Couture for about 8 or 9 months, training with Neil, and I saw Robert Drysdale, and I saw Evan Dunham's there, and I saw Ricky Lindell pass through, I think, a couple times, but so I really have no stake in Ricky Lindell, but I will give him credit where credit is due. He's a very talented, special grappler in the same way that David Terrell is. Does that make sense? Google him if you don't know who that is. Moving on, Joe Lozon, I believe, because he takes risk and the risk pay off for him. He gets this one done. Stoppage, second round. And that's a lock. Okay, Edson Barboza is taking it on short notice against Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson was originally slated to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, the Russian super wrestler or whatever. The fact that Tony Ferguson was willing to take that fight when nobody else was speaks volumes, people. No one wants to fight the Eagle, Khabib Nurmagomedov, but he needs to bring it on, man. I'll fight him. Khabib got injured, so he's out with a knee injury. Edson Barboza did step up. It's short notice, but not really. Edson Barboza stays in shape. The only thing is, and I'm guilty of this, is every time I hear about Tony Ferguson fighting, I never give him a fair shake. You know, he keeps winning though. He gets finishes, and he's a good fighter. You know, he's got that Kelvin Gastelum thing where he's better than my mind wants to believe. But has he ever been kicked by an Edson Barboza? No, he hasn't. But he's a smart guy, and is he ready for it? Maybe, maybe not. Only time will tell. So Edson Barboza is a training partner of Frankie Edgar, and if you got Frankie Edgar in your camp, you've got Renzo Gracie, John Danaher, Mark Henry, Ricardo Almeida. So top-notch training is not really an issue for you. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say Edson Barboza gets this one done by TKO. Strikes in the second round. Or if it goes to decision, Tony Ferguson. No, you know what? Edson Barboza, TKO. Locking it in. Okay. Moving on. Now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. You have Frankie Edgar. He's taking on Chad Money Mendes. The number 2 and number 3 ranked guy, respectively. This fight is a great fight because after this fight's over, there will be no ambiguity on who deserves the rightful shot at the king. Whether it be Aldo or McGregor at the time, doesn't matter. Now, like I mentioned in the Edson Barboza Tony Ferguson matchup, Frankie Edgar has got great coaches. He does everything right. He's got good footwork. My only slight against Frankie Edgar is, other than Cub Swanson, he's got to fight a guy 3 times to get one finish. Think BJ Penn. Think Gray Maynard. So I wish he would get more finishes and stop being a point fighter. But a win is a win is a win. Frankie Edgar does concede power to Chad Mendes. And Chad Mendes, on paper, probably has better wrestling. But in the cage, it kind of negates itself. There's nothing that Chad Mendes can do to Frankie Edgar that he hasn't seen and done himself a million times. So I hate to say it, my heart wants Chad Mendes, but my brain is telling me Frankie Edgar gets it done by decision. Okay, guys, this is the MMASavant here. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. If I got any facts or figures incorrect, please tell me. I know you will. And yeah, I'll see you around next time. Okay, guys, and I'm out.